Good morning. Let's talk about trucker jobs today. Yeah, when this first happened to me as a software developer back in 2003, I had no idea what had happened. And there was nobody to warn people like me because we were the first wave. Nobody knew back in 2003 that tech workers got discriminated against once they turned 45 years old. There was no, we had to learn all this on our own. Probably the same as the truck drivers are going through right now. First, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Name's Virgil Beerswell. VBSenate.com is my campaign website. There is nobody, whether it be a software developer like me or a truck driver or anybody, that is shedding light on this crap that has happened to the American workers and to the American people. Because it's not only the worker that suffers, their family suffers. When they can no longer buy shoes for their kids, or in my case, even go visit their kids, because they have no money and are virtually homeless. Who stands up for them? Well, I'm going to stand up for you if you let me. Enough of that. Let's go over here to my contact. vbeers@gmail.com. You can email me there. My website where I discuss all this is guestworkervisas.com. I saw a couple of investors looking at it yesterday. Hey, it's available for sale. I'd like to retire and focus on nothing but this. I'll even stay on and do the work damn near for free. Most of you guys and gals are looking for good paying jobs. I know why you can't find them. I can show you how we can change it. Vote for Virgil the Jobs Guy. That's me, Virgil Beerswell. I doubt they'll let me put vote Virgil the Jobs Guy on the campaign ballots, but that's okay. You'll know my name by then. My website, vbsenate.com. Phone number is 325-215-1886. You can text me. Don't bother calling me. I won't answer. I get too many damn crap calls as it is. There's a little lady I've noticed off and on here called maybe Danielle that kind of highlights what's going through the trucking industry. Apparently, they're issuing all these trucking companies and CDLs without a full legal name is truly absurd. Apparently, this is what's on their driver's license. They're given a number, their male, their sex, non domiciled CDL, whatever that stands for, but no name. If you and me tried to give something like this to fly on an airplane going from San Antonio to Las Vegas, I bet they wouldn't accept that. Yet our policemen on the road are told to accept this crap. Takes somebody high up to make things like that happen, don't it? You need to think about that. Do you really want people driving our trucks, taking our jobs, not from our country, that don't even have to apply to our adhere to our laws? Do you really want that? Well, apparently Danielle's found all kinds of lists, and they all have same thing. No given name, pour deep. No given name, Nitin, Nitesh, Navarose Singh. They're not from America. They wasn't born in America. And some of the comments are very truthful. Saw a comment where you said FNU and LNU. That's first name unknown and last name unknown. This guy, how do you get a CDL without a name? She said, I've been asking this question for months. Same thing's happened to me. This guy says you should tag Secretary Duffy this. She said, I've posted under his post, tagged again, again. Yeah, I go through the same shit myself. They're not listening. They got these Twitter profiles out there, but they don't pay attention to them. Yeah, when I was a young kid growing up, granted that's been a year or two ago, if you wanted freedom, you didn't want to answer to no boss, no micromanagement, and you wanted to make a decent living, truck driving was the way to go. Many truckers still say the same, but I hear from many others via tweets like this that things aren't the same. So I don't really know where the truth lies. But I do know that if you take software jobs away and you take trucking drives away, these are two jobs that allowed you to come from nobody, born into the lowest level of American society, and gradually work your way up to where you're making damn good money. And it seems like they're trying to take that away. It's like they want to keep us where we were born at. If I was born on a ranch in between two trees and mesquite trees and on the Little Devil's River, apparently they want me to stay there all my life. Doesn't matter if I might have had the skills to be a rocket scientist or to develop software or to analyze software or drive a rig across country. Yeah, I've drove a rig for Halliburton and a few other shorty haul rig companies and stuff like that way back in my younger years. So I don't remember much, but I do know a little bit. Americans need these kind of jobs, folks. There's not a single one in a ticket in Texas that's running, campaigning that I'm aware of, that's even talking to you about jobs. And by the ticket, I'm talking about running against Senator Cornyn. Attorney General Ken Paxton? Nah, he's too busy unzipping his zipper. Colin Allred? I don't know where he stands, but I ain't never heard him say nothing about jobs. Damn sure never heard him mention H-1B, or apparently now whatever this trucker visa is. And I'm sure they're probably here on a certain type of visa. Anybody knows, let me know. I kind of need to know that information the more I think about it. How about we stand up for Americans? Elect people like me or you that will go to Washington, D.C., and when they start talking about Ukraine, we'll say, hey, back up. No, no, we're going to talk about jobs for Americans. You want me to vote for your little project over in Ukraine? You're going to vote for my big project here about jobs here in America for Americans. Don't like it? Fine. I won't vote for your project either. Takes two to tangle, guys, gals. Right now, we got nobody in Washington, D.C. talking about jobs. Nobody. Department of Labor, they'll tell you they're hiring Americans. Yet their own data, let me pull this back over here. Their own data, let me see if I can find this real quick, shows Department of Veterans Affairs. I got one of these for the Department of Labor too. To work in Austin City, Austin, Texas, which is where I would have worked at, for $52 an hour or $108,000 a year or $86,000 a year. Prevailing wage 2, which is basically almost entry level. I got 40 years experience at this. All these contractors supplying them workers are H-1B dependent. Apparently none are willful violators, and yes, they all support H-1B, which means they probably have a flop house for them to live in somewhere. I've got these guys beat hands down. Austin, Texas would have been the office I would have worked at if I could have got hired in Kerrville or San Antonio, because they're responsible for these IT jobs. Yet I was never considered. I think all you guys and gals have seen my work. This program here is one of my little projects. I can shed an awful lot of light on an awful lot of things, given the opportunity. I can help the VA fix the problems that they haven't been able to fix. I can probably fix them. Hard to say that without seeing them, but I'd be willing to bet my money on it. Never once interviewed for any of these, even though I've tried thousands of times. What's my crime? I'm a white, Navy veteran, conservative, now too old, although I've been trying for 20 years to get in there. You'll hear Secretary Doug Collins, he'll talk a lot of shit. Man, we're putting up for our veterans, we're standing up for our veterans, we're doing right by our veterans. Yet yesterday I spent a whole day tweeting back and forth with veterans just saying the same story. They can't get interviewed, can't get hired. Many of them aren't satisfied with their foreign-born doctors. I don't know the answer, folks, but I can guarantee one thing: the answer ain't where we're at right now. Secretary of Labor's going around telling all these things, man, we've got this operation, whatever, I don't know, brown bag or whatever the hell they call it now. We're hiring Americans. Yet I can pull up this same data grid for the Department of Labor. So how are they hiring Americans when their own department of our Department of Labor hires people who aren't Americans? How is that putting Americans first, President Trump? Now, you're shutting down the government today, probably, which means we probably won't get our updated data Friday for the presidential job creation scorecard. But you can rest assured, as soon as I get it, I'll have it posted here. Because we're going to discuss it, because it's bad. It gets worse every month. And you can't say you only been there a month. You've been there since January. It's goddamn near October. You ain't done shit as far as jobs. Yeah, I know I'll catch hell from the MAGA movement for saying that. Because you can't say President Trump ain't doing anything for jobs when every time he opens his mouth he says he is. Well, he talks a lot. But the jobs data shows a totally different story. And I happen to follow data, not talk. Anyway, use your help, folks. VBSenate.com. Name's Virgil Pearsall. Somehow or another, we need to win this election in Texas in 2026. We need to primary Senator Cornyn so I can tell him to his face, you're out of here. You're fired. Tell Paxton, hey, you can go play with your zipper now. We don't give a damn. I love to tell Governor Abbott, hey, Governor Abbott, I like the way you talk, but your actions deprive Texans and Americans of jobs. Your use of taxpayer money to pay contractors who will not hire Texans, that deprives them of jobs. You're using taxpayer money. It's bad enough. But what really pisses me off when you say, hey, we created 17 million jobs this year. You don't tell Texans that only 8.5 million of them are for Americans. The rest are for foreign-born guest workers from other countries. Where I come from, that's called a lie. Tired of your lying. Anyway, guys, how they say that? Like, share, and subscribe. We need to win, folks, or it's going to get much worse. I've been watching this 22 years. Back when I started, none of this shit existed. It was the wild, wild west of job displacement. Now, when something happens, we pretty well know about it because there's enough people like me that are out there working in different areas. Like it's maybe Danielle following up on the trucking. There's a chief. I call him chief because he's in the Navy. So I probably ought to salute him, I guess, if I ever see him. He does his part. Amanda and Elizabeth, they do their part. Just like Michelle and Sarah Blackwell years ago did their part. Everybody's doing their part. Everybody's exposing this. Each year we reach more and more people. Every year we get zero response from the government. The only way we're going to get any response from the government is put somebody like me in there that says, hey, we're going to get some answers. You need to think about that, folks. We need to do it. Good day.